The 2025 Strongest Man on Earth is now wrapped up, and let me tell you one thing. My prediction game is strong in this sport. I got the top three so close to correct. I correctly predicted Evan Singleton to win, Lucas Hatton in second, and then I had Tom Stoltman in third, but Thomas Evans took the third spot. So I just got the wrong Tom, but you know, how close can you really get there? But honestly, a fantastic competition. It was really, really well run. The events were very entertaining. And other than a few very, very minor hiccups, the show ran smoothly and was a super fun one to watch. So today, in today's video, I'm going to go event by event, talk about all of my thoughts and feelings, try and keep it snappy because it was obviously a 2-day, 8-event competition with lots to talk about. So hopefully I don't drag this video on too much. But if you are new here, go down below, click like on the video and subscribe. But without further ado, let's talk about the strongest man on earth. So first of all, I want to shout out Ben Glasscock for winning the Shore Classic Men's Open, confirming his spot for next year's strongest man on earth, the only Brit representing in that category and coming out with a very, very well-deserved win. So shout out Ben. I get on with Ben really well and obviously got to back the Brits. So really pleased to see him in there and doing super, super well. So yeah, big shout out, Ben. But for now, let's talk about the strongest man on earth. So overall, on the whole, the competition was really, really well run. Brian and Kerry put on a fantastic competition. The live stream was absolutely awesome. Really, really good. The commentary was good. The mics on the floor were fantastic. The only slight minor nitpick that I have of the live stream is that I'd like to have some form of score tracker to see where people are at as we're watching the events, because on the events like the max log and the trap bar deadlift, where the athletes are going in a set order but they're able to pick their own weights of different variations, it's hard to track who's already done what compared to like a rising bar system. So having some scores on the side to see what athletes have lifted already and what athletes are lifting at the time, it'll just help the fans be able to follow it a bit better. But overall, like, really fantastically run. I have no problems other than that, and that's such a minor thing to improve on, and I'm sure they will come in and improve upon that next year. But everything just ran really smoothly. I actually had to miss day number 1 and parts of day number 2, but I've caught back up on them with the live replays, which again, really, really worth it. Being able to watch it back the next day for me and any Brit and European where, it was overnight for us basically, is really, really useful. Now, as for the events themselves, I thought the event selection was really, really good. Actually, I was really entertained by all of the events. I thought they were fantastic. Obviously, day number 1, we had the max log, the frame into arm over arm, the max keg, and the manhood stones. And then day number 2, we had the trap bar deadlift, the really heavy yoke carry. Then we had the chest press and the iron cross carry into power stairs to finish off. I thought they were a really entertaining set of events that I found really good to watch. I think probably my least favorite was that chest press. I know it's got some mixed reviews from different people. I think just because it had a few technical issues, and in my opinion, it's a little bit boring to watch. It was probably my least favorite event, but honestly, it was fantastic anyway. I really enjoyed the whole competition. So without further ado, let's go event by event and talk about them specifically. So we opened the show with the max log, and this or the max trap bar might have been my favorite event of the competition. I love a max lift, and a log is just so strong, man. It's just perfect, and I absolutely love that event. I love the fact the athletes are able to choose their own weights, and I love the fact we had an immense field of log presses to push some records. The American record got broken 3 separate times in this competition. It was absolutely mental. The standard of pressing in this competition was phenomenal. We had Lucas Hatton take the American record, and then Trey Mitchell take it right off him, and then Lucas Hatton comes out and takes it back for the event win. It was absolutely mental to watch. It was really, really good and a fantastic start to the competition. Then we moved on to the frame into arm over arm, and as we thought this was going to be Trey Mitchell's undoing, and it was, but it actually caught a few more people out than I expected. We had a few non-finishers on that frame. I heard a few people talking about possibly the left-hand frame being slightly different or slightly harder, but I don't know if there's actually any credibility to that. To me, it looked all right. It looked like a decent event, but the standout performers in this event was obviously Eddie Williams taking the win. That was absolutely fantastic. I didn't have Eddie in to win this event, but boy, did he impress me here. And a lot of people did, in fact. Bryce Johnson had a really solid performance. And in fact, Bryce Johnson was just solid throughout the entire competition. He really, really impressed me. There were some people questioning whether or not he should actually be there in the first place when the invites came out. But, you know, he proved this time round that he deserves to be there and that he is one of the strongest in the world. There's going to be a lot to come from Bryce in the future, and it was really impressive to see. Evan Singleton took second on that event. Evan was my event winner for that, but Eddie Williams came out and surprised us all, and Evan had a fantastic competition here at the Strongest Man on Earth. He looked on fire. He looked ready to go, and I'm so pleased he got the win overall, but we're getting ahead of ourselves. Let's move to event 3. So event 3 was the max keg toss. I love a max weight keg. I thought it was really interesting and a really good one to see. I think Tom Stoltman was my favorite to win this event. He just had a few mishaps and misgrooved his attempts, but our event winner on this was Maxime Boudreau, which was absolutely fantastic. And then we had a few ties as we went down the leaderboard. I believe 3 people tied for second place on this event. I think it was Trey Mitchell, Wes Dowinski, and I've forgotten the other one. I'm really sorry. But anyway, yeah, seeing Maxime win an event was really good. And I actually thought Maxime had a pretty good competition overall, to be honest. Like, he looked in decent shape. None of us really had him to win or podium the strongest man on earth, but a lot of people had him to do much worse than he did. I think he was solid throughout the whole competition. So I just want to shout him out getting an event win there on this event. But really enjoyed it. I hope we see a max weight keg return. I actually think I prefer it to a max height keg, and I'm not sure why that is, but yeah, I think something about throwing something really heavy where you've got to be super explosive just impresses me a bit more. And then to round out day number 1, we had the manhood stones. And I think, again, this showed that these stones are just particularly difficult. We had the same thing sort of happen as last year, where the people we thought we would perform really well slightly underperformed on this. I think they're just a slippy set of stones. And I've seen some people saying online that after Bryce came out and did, I think, 2 reps at 550, they had to clean the stone off, and it caused other people not to be able to grip onto that stone. And perhaps that has something to do with it. But these stones, I just think they were brand new last year. I don't think they've been used that much. They're still very slick, not roughed up at all. They're just a hard set of stones. So maybe slightly disappointing for a few people on this. And I think perhaps if they are used again in the future, maybe Brian or someone should use them in training a bit more, rough them up a bit, make them a bit easier to go for. But I know a lot of people weren't impressed with this event again this year. I still enjoyed it. I still love a max stone, but it did look like a particularly hard set of stones, this one. But that rounded out our day number 1. I believe it was Trey Mitchell leading going into day number 2. And I think Lucas Hatton was down in 7th, possibly. Day number 2, something like that. But day number 2 is the fun one. I really enjoyed the events on day number 2. These are some very, very solid events, and none so more than the max trap bar deadlift. This made me want to trap bar deadlift. It looked awesome. It was such a cool looking setup. I hope we see it return next year, the year after. I'd love it if, how the Arnold's has the elephant bar as their setup. I'd love the strongest man on earth to have this max trap bar make a return, but perhaps not every year. I know we like to see some variety in competitions, but I really enjoyed it. I want one of those trap bars. It looked mental. But the man to talk about on this trap bar deadlift is Evan Singleton. He just looked so ridiculously powerful in this event. He honestly could have gone heavier than his final attempt, but it's worth mentioning that so could have Lucas Hatton and Austin Andrade. Or did Austin Andrade fail his last attempt? Again, I'm sorry for getting my facts mixed up, but yeah, these guys are just ridiculously strong, and Evan made it look so comfortable, and Lucas Hatton pulled himself right back up the points. I think this was an absolutely fantastic event to watch, and shout out Eddie Williams for failing his first attempt and then coming out and absolutely smashing it on his second and third. Like, ridiculous to come back from that, but it was probably the most entertaining event of the whole show for me. I really enjoyed it. Absolutely loved it. But close behind that, to be honest, was this super heavy yoke event. I really, again, really enjoyed this yoke event. And the standout man on this one, again, is Tristan Hoth. He is a monster at yoke. That man can move. He did phenomenally well to finish both of the yoke implements, as did Austin Andrade. Austin Andrade just looks so solid under a yoke. Every weight seemed to move the exact same as each other on this. Like, it's just ridiculous to see that man be so powerful on this event. And we had a few guys not finish but get decent distances. Lucas Hatton again coming in, having a really solid performance on this yoke, just looking absolutely solid. And I think that's the case for Lucas on day two. The man just looked solid. You could tell he had fire in his eyes and he was clawing himself back up that leaderboard. It was very exciting. And then we had, as I said, my probably least favorite event of the competition, the standing chest press. There were a few issues with the setup, which on a few of the athletes, I think it was Eddie Williams and Wes Dewinski, the kegs released 2 at a time, which meant they had to go again at the end. And I just think it's these sort of events where you're relying on an over-engineered piece of kit that stuff can go wrong. And it's unfortunate to see. I would much rather have it be a fixed weight for reps, maybe with none of the keg situation. But, you know, that's what makes Strongman visually appealing. And I know a lot more of the casual fans love this super cool looking chest press apparatus with the kegs coming down. I think people were calling it the Donkey Kong chest press. Like, I understand the argument of that looking cool, but I think you have to come to a point where looking cool and being reliable need to be equal in their setup. So having a system with the kegs where it can go wrong like that, if it's not reliable and it makes it unfair for certain athletes, it's not great. But they handled the issues fine, in my opinion, letting Eddie and Wes come back out and do a proper run once they had fixed the kegs. And honestly, once they had fixed the keg problem, the event was pretty decent. It was still a bit, slow and boring to watch, in my opinion, just having them press and then wait and then press and then wait. It's a bit stop-start for me, but it was really entertaining. And I have to say, when people started getting that 8th keg for reps, I believe it was Evan Singleton, Thomas Evans, both getting 2 reps on that. Trey Mitchell got 1 rep at the 8th keg, and I think Lucas Hatton got 3 and are very close to a 4th. Like, these guys are just so damn powerful. But it set up the final event of the competition perfectly for me, which was the Iron Cross carry into the power stairs. And this event was, again, just a fantastic, really exciting finish. I love the finish on the power stairs at this competition, having the athletes stand atop the stairs. It's really cool. And I actually thought the Iron Cross carry was a really cool looking implement. It looked nasty and horrible to hold, but I think it looked really cool. And the standout performance on this event for me is Maxime. Again, just coming in and having a really good, solid performance on this event, making it look easy. But those power stairs implements looked nasty. They caught a few athletes out, but we finished the event off with Evan Singleton, I believe, taking not the win on the event, but I think he was 5th or 4th on this event, possibly something around there. Nick Guardione, again, had a really good performance on this. He really impressed me on this event. And Nick as well, just an absolute joy to watch. You could tell he absolutely loved being there. He wasn't going to be in contention for the win, but he was setting PBs every single event and looking like he absolutely loved it. So shout out Nick for just having fun and looking like that. Give Nick a few years' time and he's going to be an absolute monster at competitions if he isn't already. But we finish off the competition with, as I said, Evan Singleton in 1st, Lucas Hatton in 2nd, and Thomas Evans in 3rd. And I haven't really mentioned Thomas Evans' name throughout these events, but that man just did what he needed to do to get points across every single event. He was just super solid, super well-rounded, and it was really impressive from Thomas. I didn't have him on my podium. I didn't even have him in my top 5. Truth be told, I had him in about 6th. But the man really impressed me. He flies under the radar because he doesn't post a lot on social media. But he came in and he performed and he really impressed me. So well done, Thomas Evans. Lucas Hatton in 2nd, showing exactly where I thought he would be. I really did want him to win as well and beat out my predictions. But Shout out Lucas, he did absolutely fantastic. And then the man taking the win, Evan Singleton. I am so pleased for Evan. I backed him coming into this competition after his Giants live win, and I really enjoy watching Evan. He wears his heart on his sleeve, and you can see how much this win meant for him. And I'm hoping this puts Evan on a good win streak where we can see him performing really, really well in the coming months. I think in the Rogue Invitational, Evan can do some really good damage. He's very explosive, very quick, and I hope he carries on this performance and this new fire forward, and we get to see some real proper dominance from Evan coming forward because he is super capable of it. But overall, that is the strongest man on earth. As I said at the start, really enjoyed it. They ran an absolutely fantastic competition, and I already can't wait for next year's competition with the more improvements that they make. You can see how much they take into account criticisms from the last few years and they make them better and better. And not just criticisms of their own show, but notably criticisms of other shows as well, using laser timing on the yoke, for example, because people have complained about stopwatches in the past. You know, it shows that they care, and it shows that this is probably going to be the top strongman competition in a year's time, 2 years, who knows? It's on the track to overtake World's Strongest Man, in my opinion. All it needs is someone like Netflix or some TV channel to put some money into it, make it massive, make it like known about for the casual fans for it to overtake Worlds. And, you know, it's just a fantastic, brutal, but fantastic competition. I really, really enjoyed it. That's all I'm going to say for now. I hope you did enjoy. Go down below, click like on the video, leave all your thoughts in the comments below, and of course, subscribe to the channel. But I've been Toby, and I will see you in the next video.